The mother of the newborn baby boy who was found after being abducted in the Middestad Mall in Bellville in Cape Town at the weekend says she is elated to have her son back in her arms. The baby's mom, Imaan Sharmar, says she has no words to describe her emotions nor to thank everyone for helping find her 12-day-old baby. The baby was kidnapped by a 37-year-old woman who has since been arrested. Police tracked the suspect yesterday to a house in Tafelsig, Mitchell's Plain on the Cape Flats, where the baby was found safe.
Okay, so we got the call around about just after 9 last night, and then we had to meet up with the detectives at our local police station in order to go to offices. Not gonna lie, I was anxious. My anxiety was through the roof. I was sweating. I was just all over the place. I just couldn't wait to get there, you know. There was 3 ways of me able to identify him when Detective Lombard contacted me. He asked me then to mention that 3 so that they can check the box. And when we checked all that boxes, they handed him over to us, and then because it also being the first time that his dad meeting him and all of that, it was quite an emotional time for us with just rekindling with him and all of that. And me just being as calm as I was for the past few days, seeing him being home and all of that, and just having him in my arms again, I had my own breakdown. So I'm just feeling at ease at the moment. I'm just waiting for SABC to get back to me so that I can know exactly what and why, and know what the motive behind all of this was.
So as you standing here, you standing and swaying as any mother knows what they do when they're holding their little newborn baby, and I see the little pink hand sticking out. And of course, just a bit of the background. So you say that this woman came to the house at the end of May, citing that she was from a community project. From the Zoe Project. And then, of course, that was the last time you saw her up until she made contact with you again on Friday.
Yes. So she was here the first time at my house, basically to explain what the project is all about, the services they all can provide and all of that. I was keen to do it because I'm home for a couple of months now. I'm only going back to work in October. So she then said to me she's going to be registering me, and we will be getting care packages, both for myself and the baby. And then when she left from here, I didn't hear from her again until Friday, when she contacted about the workshop. She asked me if I would be interested and all of that. I said sure. She advised what we will be doing that day, because it will be me and a few more other mothers. We will be what is the word?
Sharing experiences, yes.
One another's birthing experiences and all of that. And we will be doing some arts and crafts and all of that.
So Saturday morning, you say that she arrived here in an Uber. You ended up at the Middestad Mall. In the car, you said you were given something to drink, a cold drink.
A drink, yeah. She had one for myself and herself as well.
And you started feeling sick at some point in the morning. Explain to us.
So I drank the Oras in the car while we were driving to the mall. When I started feeling ill when we were sitting down in Hungry Lion, and I advised I'm not feeling too well. That's when I just nibbled on the food, got up, and went to the entrance, and then I told her I need to sit down. My head is not, I'm feeling dizzy. That's when we went to sit on the bench. I vomited in the bin and all of that. That's when we went to the toilet, because at that time she was already holding him. And then when I got to the toilet, and that's when she then told me she's going to get me at the benches. When I got there, she wasn't there. I checked right through the mall until one of the guys that saw us standing in the line by the toilet told me my mother left, because he assumed she was my mother.
All right, let's now bring in Emma van der Walt, founder and CEO for Brave to Love, to discuss this further. Emma, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for your time. The latest incident of abduction follows many others in South Africa. I mean, close to mind is the abduction of 2 babies at a hospital in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape. Just your reaction to this latest incident in Cape Town, and what could be leading to these abduction of babies in the country, do you think?
Yeah, so I think firstly looking at what is the motive behind this, what is the criminal activity, and if you look at this case, you immediately see it's quite organized. There's a whole process, and it was thought through. It was conspired through the whole process of before the kidnapping actually takes place. And when we look at these cases, we do see some are emotionally driven, where a mother might have a desire for a baby, or is the person, the criminal, do they have mental illness? But in this case, it's actually quite organized. So when we look at human trafficking, we look at organized crime. And when we look at criminal and exploitative reasons, we see we look at human trafficking. So firstly, what are the source of babies? Where are these babies go? What are the reason for these babies? And we do know, even in the past, that we've seen cases of illegal adoption. There's money. Human trafficking is all about money and exploitation, the exploitation of babies and people for profit for people. So we see the demand for parents that can't have babies, children. And then we also see child labor. Babies can be obviously kidnapped, but then forced into labor, child labor, or sexual exploitation. Our youngest victim we found in a brothel was a baby of 2 years old, where that the baby was exploited in this. And then obviously in trafficking rings. And we do see illegal adoption rings operating. Babies are taken out of the country, sourced out of our country to other places, and that's quite alarming. And then also, obviously, ransom. In this case, we don't see the ransom being held, but a lot of these kidnappings, even of children, or going to kidnapping for ransom, which the concern is again flooding to terrorism.
I mean, there were mixed reactions in this particular abduction, in this latest case, with many asking why a 9-day-old baby was even taken to the mall to begin with. But the mother has since explained the modus operandi of the accused. I mean, what do you make of these sentiments, and just how this particular case highlights that it is in fact a reflection of how good these perpetrators are in establishing trust with the victim? I mean, you say it was very organized.
Yes. And also what we need to see, we actually see the vulnerabilities. We're sitting in a country where vulnerabilities are exploited. We're looking at poverty. We're looking at a mother that might be a single mother or might not have enough support around her. And these criminals are looking to those vulnerabilities. I mean, using a charity organization or a supportive group, or sometimes even church groups or religious groups that these criminals are using. Because you trust a female. We've seen women actually involved in these criminal activities when it comes to human trafficking, or because a female will trust another mother figure female. She's vulnerable to say, yes, I do need help. I'm struggling with a baby. And that actually builds trust. We've seen on a global level where even the modeling industry, where children were recruited, young girls were recruited into the modeling industry, but recruited by a female because they trust the female, and then the child disappears, and that's a terrific situations, and that child ends up in exploitation. So we do see the tactics of these criminals targeting vulnerable groups of people that are in need, and yes, I mean, using like Zoe, a charity organization, I assume, or a supportive community project to lure in a mother, and not just one mother. I think we need to look at, was it just one, or were there other mothers also that almost fell into the trap?
And perhaps let's talk about how mothers can, just arm themselves with information and perhaps, be on the lookout for these types of crimes. I mean, in this case, the mother says she felt dizzy after drinking a juice the accused gave her in the Uber, and that's why she handed the baby over to this woman later on. What warning signs should mothers who have just given birth look out for when dealing with strangers particularly?
Yeah. I think it's very important to look in who is your trusted circle. The Human Traffic Hotline, for instance, have a verification process that if you are unsure about a job opportunity, or just like this, they are offering her opportunity to do something, to work, you can actually verify through the Human Traffic Hotline in South Africa. So verify, make sure that you don't travel, don't take drinks from people. This is one of the most important things. We've seen young girls go clubbing where there's protocol that you need to adhere to not take drinks from people, because these criminals are getting clever. We even see with house robberies where these criminals are using these platforms to actually intoxicate the person so that they don't remember what took place, or with the rape drugs. We see these things happening, and they're using those methods to make the kidnapping easier. And yeah, so mother needs to they need to safeguard and make sure that you have a trusted circle of people around you, family that know where you are at all times. Your baby you need to protect with your life, to not bring anyone, just to trust anyone. I think it's very crucial.
And I mean, in this particular story, she was lucky. I mean, she has her baby back safely home with her. What do you think was, the highlight for you that led police to finding this 37-year-old suspect?
Yeah, I think it's a big win for South Africa police enforcement, because many of these babies are so quick to leave the country, or when it comes to human trafficking, that this child changes hands so many times, 5 people, it's a chain of stealing a baby. And I think this person was opportunistic, but you can also see the criminal patterns in her thinking and planning it ahead and trying to look for vulnerable mothers. And I don't think this was just a once-off. I think there has been a long planning and pondering upon this scheme already. So I think the police needs to investigate it, but it's amazing win for the police to actually, do the investigation and find the child so quickly. So it's really a great win for the police. And together we need to fight harder for all the children that are not safe on our streets. Unfortunately, we live in a country that the crime rate is still very extremely high, and our biggest focus should be to safeguard children and mothers firstly, and those that are vulnerable in our community.
Emma, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Emma van der Walt, founder and CEO for Brave to Love.